I was probably growing my hair for about 5 years. And in the end, it just got a bit too hard to maintain. Too much combing and washing and those sorts of things. So I've gone with something a bit more manageable. So I think.
Was it also the heat over in Saudi? Did that play a factor?
I actually cut it before I went to Saudi. I cut it, I think, June of 2018. It was actually more for, I got a friend, Anthony Caceres, who plays for Sydney, and it was his wedding and I was a groomsman, so I thought I'd better toe the line and do the right thing by him. Yeah, look, I love the lifestyle there. Obviously, Townsville's a great place in the world. It's got great weather, and yeah, for about 9 months of the year, the weather's fantastic. But for those 3 months, it's pretty hot. But for me personally, it was my first sort of exposure to the A League, so I didn't really know what to expect at all. So for me, it was just great to get an opportunity, and obviously from there, I was able to go back to Adelaide and play. And yeah, I think for me, it was a good stepping stone. But in terms of football, obviously we weren't particularly successful, and unfortunately the club sort of folded after a couple of years. Obviously for me it was playing under Gombau. He was a fantastic coach, and I think during that time we probably played the best football Adelaide United ever played. And for me as well, I felt like I improved a lot under him, and I guess for me it's always important to, if I feel like I'm growing under a manager and playing well and enjoy my football, then I usually play my best stuff. So that's why, for me, I think that was my most successful and happy time there. I think I've been away for long enough now to where it's not such a big deal, but for me, obviously, it's just a chance to play in front of friends and family, which is always nice. They're always happy to see me, and I'm always happy to go back and catch up with the family. It's a very interesting place to live. Obviously, culturally, it's completely different. It's probably night and day compared to Australia, but then there's the heat. That's the difference, and obviously the game, football itself, is a lot different there. There's more of a focus on technical ability rather than sort of tactical and physicality. So look, there's a lot of things you need to adapt to, but for me, I'd been in the A League for such a long time that I felt like I wanted a different experience, football and lifestyle as well. So for me, I was there for 6 months and I had a great experience. Football-wise, probably wasn't the greatest of experiences, but for me, I feel like I've really grown as a person, and yeah, I'm definitely happy to be back in Australia though. We're pretty lucky here. I was lucky enough to get a call from Tony when I was actually in Saudi, and yeah, for me, Tony's been a manager that I've wanted to work under for a long time. As I said earlier, growing and improving as a player is what sort of strives me and what gets me going and gets me up in the morning. So the opportunity to play with Popper, who has an amazing record, and he has a record of sort of improving players and making players sort of reach their maximum ability, and that's something that I really want to sort of strive to do for the next few years. And yeah, so when he called me, I was really happy, and it was an easy choice, to be honest. Yeah, I forgot how long it was. I reckon that was under Gombau actually, but that was probably my first goal in the A League.
Short corner, there's Elridge, first touch, clips it to the back post, and that's a brilliant header. He heads it back, he has to generate a bit of power as well, and he heads it back from where it's come from.
And it's funny because at training I used to, when I'm being an idiot, and I rarely score in training as well, but when I score I sort of kiss my finger, and I remember in that game I sort of buckled, I didn't know what to do, so I ended up kissing my knuckle and pointing to the NIB stadium. At that stage there was actually no one, it was under construction, so there's no one actually in the crowd, but yeah, I got a bit of stick for that one. I remember Tariq crossed it, and I reckon it was Burnsy in front of me. I probably gave him a bit of a shove, but I wasn't complaining. And I remember I scored about 2 weeks later as well, so I've been playing for 10 years and I scored my 2 goals within about 3 weeks of each other. So hopefully I can score some more at Glory, we'll see. I definitely remember the shed. Especially when you have long hair and a name like Osama, you've definitely got a bit of room for banter, but no, it's great. The Perth Glory fans are always fantastic, and yeah, they're always very much behind their local team, so I think it'll be nice to be on the right side of that for a change. I remember it pretty clearly because I remember seeing it in slow-mo and thinking, okay, that doesn't look as good as how I thought it was in my head. But I literally just slid across to block the ball, and at the same time he sort of moved and we sort of collected each other. But yeah, it went from a goal kick to a penalty and a red card, so yeah, I wasn't the most popular guy in Melbourne that night.
You were popular in Perth, however.
Yeah, I bet I was. I helped them get. I don't know. Did they win? Was it?
Yeah, we did. We won 3-1.
Yeah, I reckon I actually broke my toe that night as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could see why, because it looked the way, and he sort of slipped into me as well, and then he kind of moved forward. So I reckon I got him in the knee, but he is about 4'3", so because before then I hadn't ever got a red card in my life, and again I got 2 red cards in probably about 3 weeks. So I seem to do things in quick succession. I'd actually spent a week in Perth in year 9 at a cricket carnival, so that was a while ago, so that was obviously a bit different, but I've always enjoyed coming to Perth. The weather's always great, the city's beautiful, the great beaches that are close to the city, so it's a great place, and I'm looking forward to having a look around. When I was sort of growing up, cricket and soccer were always my 2 sports, obviously cricket in summer and football in winter, but I think at the age of maybe 15, that's when you sort of had to make a decision, and to be honest, it wasn't really a decision because football was always the game I wanted to pursue. Off the field, obviously, I love my food, and luckily I've got Chris Harold here who's got some great suggestions for me, so we're very much on the same page when it comes to that sort of thing. But also I love music, so I just need to figure out some places to go. I've seen there's a jazz cellar in Mount Hawthorn and a couple of places in Fremantle that look pretty good, so I'm sure I'll enjoy myself here. Obviously, Perth was so successful last year, and I've come here to help the team in any way I can to reach the same heights, and obviously get even higher to win the championship. And obviously playing in Asia is going to be a great experience, and I think we're lucky here in Perth. We're sort of logistically we're a bit closer to the Asian countries, so it could really help as well. And personally, I'm just looking to improve and grow and expand my game and help the team in any way I can. I'm sure a lot of people would sort of disagree with me when I say I look alright in purple, but no, Perth's a great club. It's the oldest team in the A League, really. So yeah, to put on the purple colours is a great achievement for me.